Hey there guys, today we're going to have a look at characterizing inside of Motionbuilder. First I need to get a character into there. If you looked at the last video, then I've already covered a couple of different ways that you can import a character into Motionbuilder. So I'm just going to send a character over there using my send to Motionbuilder command. But first off, I just wanted to show you, anyone who's familiar with Epic Games' ART system, you can send your ART rig over to Motionbuilder so you can characterize it and use it inside of Motionbuilder. So I just thought I'd show you that first, and then we'll go about the process in using a different character. So first off, I'll load up a character. Okay, so here's our girl, complete with her ART rig. We're not interested in any of these rig controls, we just want the skeleton. So in order to select that, we need to go over here into our outliner and just make sure we select the mesh and the joints. Now they're grayed out in ART because you generally don't need to touch them because the control rig takes care of everything. But as we don't need the control rig, we're going to take just the joints and the mesh and send them over to Motionbuilder. Okay, so here she is, and currently we can't see anything. I press Control A, and you notice down here it changes from models only to X-ray and then everything. We go in X-ray and we can't see the joints. They are still there. If I pull down here, you see we do actually have our joints, and she is actually still skinned and set up ready to go. But we don't have the control rig, so from here I could characterize her just as I will with the next guy, but just for the sake of making this easier so you can see all of the joints, I'm going to load in another character instead. So again, I'll go over to my asset browser. I've already set up a path, so I can just go in here. First off, I have to remember where I actually put anything. Base meshes. Okay, so here's our chap. There he is, and his joint size is too big, so like in the last video, I'll just change the size of his joints. The properties, and we want to find our skeleton. Here it is, skeleton node settings and size. We just want to bring that down. Let's go for like 5. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our guy in here. We can set about characterizing him. So if I come over to my asset browser, and if I look in templates here and click on characters, we have our character over here. If I just drag this into the scene, it will bring a character into the scene and I can characterize, but I'm going to drop it onto one of his bones so it knows that it's going onto this character. And if the naming convention was all set up the same as what Motionbuilder expects, then it would automatically characterize it for us, but that's unlikely to happen. What's more likely to happen is that we'll get 1 or 2 of the joints in the right place, but otherwise we'll have to just sort it all out manually. So here we go. Let's have a look down in our navigator, and if I click under characters, we now have a character in the scene, and that's our guy. I'm just going to rename him just so I don't get confused. So he is now biker character. And you'll see over here in our in our definition window, we've got a few things already mapped out. Like I said, they're generally not going to be right, and this is no exception. Yeah, definitely not right. So I'm going to remap this guy. I'll do it as quick as I can, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, so there's two ways of characterizing. One is you can select the joint and then right click over here and click assign selected bone. That's my favored method because it means that you can pick the joint first to make sure you've got it right, and you tend to get less errors. I also think it's faster. Or you can double click on any of these joints and just click on the one you want to assign it to, like so. Now the issue with that is that if I double click, so I'm ready to select the hips, and I kind of miss and hit the mesh, then it will assign it anyway, and obviously I don't want that. So I just prefer to select the bone first, and then right click and assign it. It's asking me if I want to overwrite what's already selected, and of course yes I do. Okay, so because we have it on mirror mode, it will automatically mirror across as long as our naming convention has L and R in it. So I'm just going to select these. Let's do the spine. So spine number 1. Spine number 2 is the chest, but it doesn't matter. It's still part of the spine. Now let's have a look in here at his clavicle. And then what do we have here? We've got two joints. One of these will be the roll joint for the arm. So that's the arm. That means this one here is, yeah, okay, so that's another shoulder joint. We actually don't need that, so I won't worry about that one at all. Our roll joint, there we go, so there's our twist. So if I click over here and pull down this menu, you'll see here it says left arm roll. So I'll select our twist to there. The twist and the roll are the same thing. Okay, let's carry on with his arms. This is his elbow, and he's got a couple of twist joints in here. Oh. So let's assign them. It's maybe overkill to have two, but if you want really realistic definition, then you can put two in there, and a lot of people do. And what do we have now? Forearm twist. Oh, a third one. Crikey. Where's his wrist? There he is. Okay. Let's assign his wrist. And let's get his neck. There's his neck. And this one will be his head. Okay. And apart from the feet and the fingers, I'm more or less done now. There's his feet. I'll open up his feet just to give it a toe base. So this guy here. Chuck him in as well. I'm not going to bother with the toes or the fingers. I'll maybe do one or two of the fingers, but I'm just doing a quick demo, so I don't really need to go into too much depth. Oh, I've lost him. I'm just going to select the arm joint and press F to reframe this. Okay, his joint size is still maybe a little bit too big. So let's just select the finger base of his little pinky. Assign that. Oh, this is messy. It's difficult to see. Another reason why I prefer to assign the bones this way rather than double clicking and selecting, because I would definitely make errors if I was doing this. I'll just check this. Yeah, that is the joint that I want. And another reason why I don't like to double click a joint and then select is, if I show you, I'll use his thumb. let's just click that joint. You see automatically it switches over from the right hand to the left hand. Now if I've taken time to frame this left hand here, every time I select a joint, it goes over to the other side. So then I have to exit and come back in, which is a monumental pain. It's done it again, so now it's looking at the other hand. Whereas if I just select a finger joint and then go in and assign it, it stays in the same window. So as far as I'm concerned, it saves you a lot of time just selecting them first and then right clicking. Now I did say I wasn't going to do all of these joints, but I've started now, so I guess I'll finish. Oh, it is messy in here. Nearly there, one last finger. There he is. Okay, so I think that's us done. I'll assign the root joint as well. Okay, so that should be everything. It's giving us an error over here, saying the right arm doesn't seem to be parallel with the x-axis. It doesn't look too bad to me. I'll try a little tweak, see if I can actually get it there quickly. If I can't, then I'll just leave it and we'll deal with it being slightly off. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's only a minor tweak. So let's grab both arms. And I'll just check that I'm in local mode and we'll just move them back. There we go. Everything is nice and green. It's not the end of the world if it's not 100% green, but it's more accurate if you are. Okay, so our characterization is complete. Everything is happy. Now there's a few ways of finalizing this characterization. If we lock our definition, we can then apply a control rig here. Or we can select our character over here. If I double click, then it brings up his options and we've got character definition here. I can also click characterize here, and then it asks us if we want biped or quadruped. I'll go ahead and do it that way. Okay, so now he is characterized. He has a control rig. It wants us to tell it if it's FK and IK or just IK. We want both. So click on that, and now we have our characterized model ready for animation. Okay, there we go. In our next video, I'll experiment with some animation, showing you the difference between animating inside of Motionbuilder compared to Maya. And we'll also then start to have a look at how you can assign animation on top of this control rig. So it could be animation that comes from motion capture, or it could be an animation you've done on a different skeleton entirely and you want to map it onto this guy, in which case we can tell this control rig to receive that animation. But we'll have a look at that in the next video. For now, I hope that helped. Take care, and I'll see you soon.